Roy Boreen is a 95-year-old resident of Pinehurst. He left Minneapolis, Minnesota at the age of 18 to join the U.S. Navy in 1938. In December of that year, he was assigned to the battleship USS Oklahoma. For the next 3 years, Roy, or Swede as he was called by his shipmates, served on the Oklahoma until the morning of December 7, 1941. Chief Warrant Officer Boreen was beginning his duties on what seemed to be just another typical day at Pearl Harbor.
At 7:55, they sounded, general quarters, all hands man your battle stations. So there was 5 of us in the pay office, so I ran to this big porthole we had and looked out, and when I did, I saw the rising sun on this first Kate bomber. He had just released the first torpedo for our ship. We took a total of 9, as you know. All of us ran out of the pay office, and I went down to my battle station on the 3rd deck and start closing the watertight doors between compartments. And just when I slammed this last dog down on this one door, another torpedo hit in the next compartment, hit a fuel tank, sprung the door, and I was completely covered with oil. I was all by myself, and I turned around, and I could see water coming down because the ship was already going over. I went over to this ladder that went to the 2nd deck, and when I got up there, water was already waist high on the 2nd deck, and 2 of my shipmates were standing there, and one was clutching his stomach, and I could see blood running down his leg. And I looked up, and 2 sailors were getting ready to close the main deck hatch. I started up the ladder. I said, hold it. I said, we're coming up. And I said, let's get out of here, to my 2 shipmates. And they said, Swede, this ship is only going to go over so far, and we'll be okay. So I went up the ladder, and the 2 sailors closed the main deck hatch. Found out later that they were trapped. We had a crew of 1,379. We lost 443. The other shipmates that came up with me from the 3rd deck, they were in the water or either on the hull, and the ship was already over like this. And that zero got every one of my shipmates. And I couldn't hold back the tears. I finally climbed aboard the USS Maryland, and when I got aboard there, the sailors threw open their lockers, and I was able to get towels and stuff and clean uniforms. It's a day I'll never forget.
When the Japanese Kate bombers, Zero fighter planes, and other aircraft disappeared over the horizon, 2,403 were dead and 1,178 wounded. Since his retirement from the Navy in 1959, Roy Boreen has made it his mission to help us remember the sacrifice of those at Pearl Harbor. Every Veterans Day, Roy has a particular routine.
The first thing I do is I always say a prayer the first thing in the morning. In fact, this coming Veterans Day, we're going to be at the Village Hall, and they've asked me to give the Pledge of Allegiance. Because every time I take in these military luncheons and all that, the president always says, Swede, would you please give the Pledge of Allegiance, which I do, because I consider that an honor.
And we consider it an honor to recognize Roy Boreen for his bravery and his service to our country.